Ancient ruins of Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is one of the main archaeological sites of Southeast Asia, covering an area of some 400 square kilometers and partly covered by forest. Located in northwest Cambodia, is the largest religious structure in the form of a temple complex in the world by land area, measuring 162.6 hectares, 401 plus 3/4 acres. At the center of the temple stands a quincunx of 4 towers surrounding a central spire that rises to a height of 65 meters, 213 feet, above the ground. The temple has 3 rectangular galleries, each raised above the next. It lies within an outer wall 3.6 kilometers, 2 plus 1/4 miles, long and a moat more than 5 kilometers, 3 miles, long. The temple was built at the behest of Suryavarman II in the early 12th century in Yaśodharapura, present-day Angkor, the capital of the Khmer Empire, as the state temple for the empire. Originally constructed dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu in the early 12th century, it was converted to a Buddhist temple towards the end of the 12th century. Suryavarman II, posthumously named Paramavishnuloka, was a Khmer king from 1113 AD to 1150 AD and the builder of Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument in the world, which he dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu. His reign's monumental architecture, numerous military campaigns and restoration of strong government have led historians to rank Suryavarman as one of the empire's greatest kings. Angkor Wat combines 2 basic plans of Khmer temple architecture: the Temple Mountain and the later Gallery Temple. It is designed to represent Mount Meru, home of the Devas in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. Unlike most Angkorian temples, Angkor Wat is oriented to the west. Scholars are divided as to the significance of this. The temple is admired for the grandeur and harmony of its architecture, extensive bas-reliefs, and statues of Buddhas and Devas that adorn its walls. According to a myth, the construction of Angkor Wat was ordered by Indra to serve as a palace for his son Prajaket Mili. According to the 13th century Chinese traveler Zhou Diguan, some believed that the temple was constructed in a single night by a divine architect. The initial design and construction of the temple took place in the first half of the 12th century, during the reign of Suryavarman II, ruled 1113, circa 1150. Breaking from the Shiva tradition of previous kings, Angkor Wat was instead dedicated to Vishnu. It was built as the king's state temple and capital city. As neither the foundation stela nor any contemporary inscriptions referring to the temple have been found, its original name is unknown, but it may have been known as Paramavishnuloka after the presiding deity. Work seems to have ended shortly after the king's death, leaving some of the bas-relief decoration unfinished. In 1177, approximately 27 years after the death of Suryavarman II, Angkor was sacked by the Khams, the traditional enemies of the Khmer. Thereafter the empire was restored by a new king, Yaśodharapura VII, who established a new capital and state temple, Angkor Thom and the Bayon, respectively, a few kilometers north, dedicated to Buddhism, because the king believed that the Hindu gods had failed him. Angkor Wat was therefore also gradually converted into a Buddhist site, and many Hindu sculptures were replaced by Buddhist art. Towards the end of the 12th century, Angkor Wat gradually transformed from a Hindu center of worship to Buddhism, which continues to the present day. Angkor Wat is unusual among the Angkor temples in that although it was largely neglected after the 16th century, it was never completely abandoned. 14 inscriptions dated from the 17th century, discovered in the Angkor area, testify to Japanese Buddhist pilgrims that had established small settlements alongside Khmer locals. At that time, the temple was thought by the Japanese visitors to be the famed Jetavana Garden of the Buddha, which was originally located in the Kingdom of Magadha, India. The best-known inscription tells of Ukundeo Kazufusa, who celebrated the Khmer New Year at Angkor Wat in 1632. Angkor Wat is a unique combination of the Temple Mountain, the standard design for the empire's state temples, and the later plan of concentric galleries. The construction of Angkor Wat also suggests that there was a celestial significance with certain features of the temple. This is observed in the temple's east-west orientation, and lines of sight from terraces within the temple that show specific towers to be at the precise location of the sunrise on a solstice. The temple is a representation of Mount Meru, the home of the gods. The central quincunx of towers symbolizes the 5 peaks of the mountain, and the walls and moat symbolize the surrounding mountain ranges and ocean. Access to the upper areas of the temple was progressively more exclusive, with the laity being admitted only to the lowest level. The monument was made out of 5 to 10 million sandstone blocks with a maximum weight of 1.5 tons each. The entire city of Angkor used far greater amounts of stone than all the Egyptian pyramids combined, and occupied an area significantly greater than modern-day Paris. Moreover, unlike the Egyptian pyramids which use limestone quarried barely half a kilometer, 1/4 of a mile, away all the time, the entire city of Angkor was built with sandstone quarried 40 kilometers, 25 miles, or more, away. This sandstone had to be transported from Mount Gulen, a quarry approximately 40 kilometers, 25 miles, northeast. As with most other ancient temples in Cambodia, Angkor Wat has faced extensive damage and deterioration by a combination of plant overgrowth, fungi, ground movements, war damage and theft. The war damage to Angkor Wat's temples, however, has been very limited, compared to the rest of Cambodia's temple ruins, and it has also received the most attentive restoration. Work on Angkor was abandoned during the Khmer Rouge era and the Conservation d'Angkor was disbanded in 1975. Between 1986 and 1992, the Archaeological Survey of India carried out restoration work on the temple, as France did not recognize the Cambodian government at the time. Criticisms have been raised about both the early French restoration attempts and particularly the later Indian work, with concerns over damage done to the stone's surface by the use of chemicals and cement. Cambodia gained independence from France on November 9, 1953 and has controlled Angkor Wat since that time. It is safe to say that from the colonial period onwards until the site's nomination as UNESCO World Heritage in 1992, this specific temple of Angkor Wat was instrumental in the formation of the modern and gradually globalized concept of built cultural heritage. Restoration work was interrupted by the Cambodian Civil War and Khmer Rouge control of the country during the 1970s and 1980s. But relatively little damage was done during this period. Camping Khmer Rouge forces used whatever wood remained in the building structures for firewood, and a shootout between Khmer Rouge and Vietnamese forces put a few bullet holes in a bas-relief. Far more damage was done after the wars, by art thieves working out of Thailand, which, in the late 1980s and early 1990s, claimed almost every head that could be lopped off the structures, including reconstructions. The temple is a powerful symbol of Cambodia, and is a source of great national pride that has factored into Cambodia's diplomatic relations with France, the United States, and its neighbor Thailand. A depiction of Angkor Wat has been a part of Cambodian national flags since the introduction of the first version circa 1863. From a larger historical and even transcultural perspective, however, the Temple of Angkor Wat did not become a symbol of national pride sui generis but had been inscribed into a larger politico-cultural process of French colonial heritage production in which the original temple site was presented in French colonial and universal exhibitions in Paris and Marseille between 1889 and 1937. Since the 1990s, Angkor Wat has become a major tourist destination. In 1993, there were only 7,650 visitors to the site. By 2004, government figures show that 561,000 foreign visitors had arrived in Siem Reap province that year, approximately 50% of all foreign tourists in Cambodia. The number reached over 1 million in 2007. And over 2 million by 2012. Most visited Angkor Wat, which received over 2 million foreign tourists in 2013, and 2.6 million by 2018.